Hello and welcome to Mark in the Park, the program from Urbana Park District, where we let you know what's going on in your Urbana Parks. Urbana Park District, you belong here. I'm Mark Schultz. Thanks for joining us today, and we are joined today by Jacob Johnston, our age-friendly resource specialist at Urbana Park District. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Mark. How are you?
That's good. I'm great. Fantastic. Well, first of all, what is an age-friendly resource specialist?
Well, it's a collaborative position that was put together through Clark-Lindsey Village and the Urbana Park District. I basically specialize in teaching folks around town technology, giving vitals checks to seniors, and sharing community resource information. Part of my job is just to make sure that all of the different age-friendly organizations around town are communicating well and are all serving the common purpose of helping out our elderly folks.
It's very much, it sounds like it's a liaison job, making sure everybody gets connected where they need to go.
Yeah, I'm a Jake of all trades, so I've kind of got my foot in every door, I'd say.
Very good. Now, where can people find you? You're kind of everywhere.
Yeah, so I have community pop-ups around town. The schedule changes and the location changes often, so you'd be able to find that information either by contacting the Phillips Recreation Center or on Clark-Lindsey Village's website. We're also kind of coming together to form an age-friendly website that's in the works that will be the hub for all of that information as well. But I would say my office hours from 2 to 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays would be a great way to reach me. And I always have an open door. It's appointments welcome and appreciated, but walk on in if you so choose.
And the 2 to 4 on Tuesday and Thursday is at Phillips Recreation Center?
Phillips Recreation Center.
Very good. What questions can people come to you and what answers can you provide?
Just about a little bit of everything. I pride myself in learning just as much as I teach on the job, so I'll take a crack at just about anything. I like to put an emphasis on empowering seniors through education, so it's not so much bring me your broken devices for free, helpful IT support. If that business exists, I'd really like their business card. But it's more of just come with some questions about your device, or maybe even questions about a future purchase of a device. Anything technology related, or just drop by for the vitals checks.
Very good. You talk about vitals checks. You give some health screenings?
I do, yep. So we do blood pressure, blood oxygen checks, as well as pulse. I'll give some nutrition recommendations, but you know, it won't skip the physician's trip exactly.
So no, you are not a medical doctor, but you have healthcare training.
Yep, I have a CNA background from Clark-Lindsey, and I've always just been very interested in health and nutrition.
So it's a chance for people to drop in and check the vitals, see how they're doing. Maybe the doctor says, hey, monitor this, monitor that.
Yep.
You're the person to help monitor it.
So we'll give out little cards to help track your blood pressure, and if you're really serious about it, I've been teaching an awful lot of people how to use Excel worksheets to do it as well.
Very good. And what social, you mentioned you're kind of all around, what social service agencies do you help our age-friendly people connect with?
Quite a few. So the ones that are coming up right off the top of my head would be RSVP, or the Retired Senior Volunteer Service. And they work out of the News Gazette building, the Stevick Senior Center. And they just give volunteer opportunities to our seniors all around town to fit their wants and needs. I also work with Family Service, who just kind of vouches for seniors around town. There may be purposeful or unpurposeful senior neglect, and they might step in for that. And I also work with an ombudsman service as well.
Very good. Do you mentioned senior neglect? Do you find that around a lot?
Not too often, and
that's good.
When we do, it's generally unintentional. Sometimes there just needs to be a third party to go in there, correct a few things, and then people seem to be fine.
That's good news. We don't have, it's not a major epidemic around town. That's good. You mentioned too, talking about technology. Technology is a big component of your job. Some people may think our older population and technology don't mix. Is that true or not true?
It's kind of a yes or no. So technology with seniors today is a little bit of a catch-22. Because of health and aging, seniors tend to realize that they could really benefit from these technologies, but it could be because of the age that these technologies were never really adventured into. A lot of seniors today retired around the time of the computer age's dawning, and unfortunately that puts them at a slight disadvantage. Certainly that wouldn't stop anybody from being able to learn. An inspired person will be able to learn just about anything they want with no problem, and I have plenty of success stories to abide by that. One of my really fun regulars, Ray, has just started using fitness trackers, and he went from just using a very basic iPhone for basic reasons, email, text messaging, to logging all of his nutrition into MyFitnessPal every single day. And the guy looks like a ray of sunshine every time I see him, and I tell him that all the time.
Now that is something where people our age say, well, yeah, of course you have an app for that on your smartphone, but for somebody who may have maxed out at the flip phone or the cell phone that was as big as your shoe, it's a big step to take that. And a lot of times people our age don't recognize that or can't appreciate it.
Sure, and the key is patience, really. It comes as a big step for us, but we're just so familiar with it growing up around it. I started computing at the age of 4. I was a really big video game nerd, and everything that I see and that I teach, it's hard not to take it for granted because these things are difficult, and they're going to take some patient coaching to have somebody learn it.
Jacob Johnston is our age-friendly resource specialist here for Urbana Park District, and he's our guest today on Mark in the Park. Talking technology, and you say you can't break out the soldering equipment and the screwdriver, but how can you help people with their technology? I can hear it a little bit, help people say, well, this is an app and this is how you use it, and what other things can you do?
Well, definitely using words like app and text messaging, use all of the jargon, but be prepared to define the jargon. Make sure that you're letting the senior hold the phone, hold the device, and do everything on it. Your job is more to guide rather than to do for.
We think sometimes it's a comedy scene on a TV show where grandma's trying to figure out the iPhone or trying to get on the interwebs or the Google machine or something like that. But technology can really help our age-friendly people lead better lives, correct?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, from a wellness standpoint, from a social standpoint, these devices can really benefit our senior population in just limited ways, truly.
For one thing, it can help the kids and grandma stay in contact.
Grandma may have to meet the grandchildren in the middle, as it turns out. I hear that grandchildren nowadays don't like phone calls as much as they used to. But I will say, grandchildren, call your grandmothers, please.
Very good. And you can even maybe do it on Skype or something like
maybe
that.
Maybe even a video call.
That's right. And of course, you can, a lot of times, medical professionals you can connect with online as well.
Yeah, that's a great resource. So right there, Mark, other benefits would be medical benefits. So a lot of technology will help with medication reminders, getting some additional face-to-face time with a physician, all sorts of things. The fitness tracking would be a great one.
Very good. And it sounds like you're an advocate for parents and grandchildren to kids and grandkids to buy their parents and grandparents new technology. Don't say, oh, Grandpa doesn't know how to do anything. That's selling them very short and not fair to them.
Sure, and none of our local seniors want to be left behind, so help them stay relevant in this day and age.
Very good, very good. And what tips, you talked on a couple, tell some tips if mom or dad have a new device, kid or grandkid, helps them set up the device. Just be very let's walk them through. And again,
Sure.
you might have to define app and even email.
Yeah, this
and,
jargon is easy
Yeah.
for those who hear it so often, but this is a new world for these individuals.
So be patient and walk them through. And it's probably good for them to actually do the hands-on themselves, not sit off to the side while you get it all logged on and set up and
Yeah,
formatted.
absolutely. I would say try not to let the gift be a surprise. Let your grandparent know that you're going to purchase this gift. If they seem excited about it, go ahead with the purchase. If they seem like they're a little bit standoffish at first, it's going to be up to you to sell them on this device. Nobody wants to learn anything new unless they're pretty darn sure they're going to benefit from it. So it really is up to us to show what these devices can do and really guide in that way.
That's a very good point to make. If somebody is age-friendly and they aren't too sure about something, or they are not sure about technology in the world, opening the iPhone on Christmas Day is not the time to do it. Maybe it's time to talk now about how things will work.
Yep, and that drive that our age-friendly population is going to start to have is really going to be the means for their learning. It is going to be up to the grandchildren or the children for that immediate tutelage, but without a passion and a desire to learn and a desire to better themselves through this technology, it's going to fall off quickly. So again, really selling the benefits of the technology, interacting through the technology with the individual. One thing that really helped me out is I Skyped my grandmother once a week after we got her new iPad for Christmas, and that made her day. That was enough to sell her on the device right there.
That's great. That's great. She can see if you're getting enough to eat, right?
Yeah, truly.
And one big thing, too, for people to remember is be patient with Grandma and Grandpa as you're setting things up. You might have to
Absolutely.
say things a couple different times, and it might take a while for the light to click on.
Sure. Go into the education setting with that mindset of patience already. It's going to take a little bit of extra work. It's going to take some real coaching, and it's not something you're going to be able to speed through.
All right. Your position is shared between Urbana Park District and Clark-Lindsey. What's the best way for people to get in contact with you?
I have two different emails, one from the Park District and one from Clark-Lindsey. So I would say probably the Park District. They could always call the Phillips Recreation Center. Again, I'm there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I also have a business line that hopefully will have a little thing come up here, and it's right here.
So if you want to get in touch with Jacob, best bet is to call Phillips Recreation Center at 217-367-1544.
There we go.
Jacob Johnston, age-friendly resource specialist, new position at Urbana Park
Yes.
District, helping to connect our older population to keep them up to date in the community. It's great work. Thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you, Mark.
Jacob Johnston, our guest today. And again, if you want to get in touch with Jacob, you can call Phillips Recreation Center at Urbana Park District, 217-367-1544, or always check us out at urbanaparks.org. We're also on Facebook, we're also on Twitter, and we're also on Instagram. Look for Urbana Park District on that social media. Thanks for joining us today on Mark in the Park. I'm Mark Schultz. Have a great day.